Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hey, Are You Listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel, and I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we connected over a mutual love of some certain artists, but we also have pretty different tastes when it comes to things. And so this is a fun journey for us as we get to expose each other to new things, but also sometimes have some friends come along for the ride with us. And so today I'm getting exposed to something new for me, which is really fun. But Brandon, how's it going today? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm excited about today. I feel like we've I've learned that for you it was very much a tooth and nail like experience growing up, and for me it was way more of a go-to records. So I feel like I'm like I have the home field advantage today. So
It's always kind of a scary thing, though, when you bring one of your favorite records and submit it for conversation. So are you feeling nervous about that at all, or?
it's a little nervous. I can definitely see you walking away being like, Brandon, this is a pleasant surprise, or Brandon, this is a 1 star.
You think it could go either way?
That's just the magic of John Reuben. You can love him, you can hate him.
All right. So speaking of, today the question is, hey, are you listening to The Boy versus the Cynic by John Reuben? And so I'm excited to dig into this, as this is, again, kind of a new record for me. But before we do that, Brandon, you informed me that you have a game for us today.
Yes, I got a game for you, Joel. So
Is this like retribution for like all the past games that I've
yeah.
subjected you to?
For John Reuben, anyone who's a fan of his knows that he just like comes up with just these different aliases like that he puts out.
Okay.
So he goes by all these different names on there. So today I have a mix of real aliases of John Reuben and fake ones. So we're gonna see if you can get the spot the fakes out of these ones.
Can I ask you a question about this before we get started?
Yes.
Like, where is John Reuben using these aliases?
He just like throws it out in a song, and he's
okay.
like, "Yeah, I go by this name. I go by that name." So,
Gotcha. So it's not like different, like anonymous Twitter accounts where he gets.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, like it's just John Reuben being like, "Yeah, I go by these names."
Okay.
No one.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. So first off, Rubaloo.
So I'm telling you if this is real or fake.
Real or fake?
Rubaloo. I'm gonna go fake.
That's right. John Rue.
John Rue sounds like that's what like his buddies called him in college. So I'm gonna go yes, real.
All right. So far you got it. J. Rube.
J. Rube. I'm gonna go with that one's a real one too.
It's fake.
Ah, you got me.
All right. Next one, Jack Zappin.
Jack Zappin. Fake.
It's real.
Oh, come on. J. Rube is... Okay.
Don Rubio.
I'm gonna go fake again.
It's real.
What?
Rubik's Cube.
Oh man. I'm gonna say this one's real, but it's gonna be fake.
It's fake. Johnny Rubonic.
Real.
It's real.
It was so out there. I knew it had to be real.
The Dippity Doer.
Again, so out there. I'm gonna go with real.
You got it. And finally, Rubatron.
Rubitron fake.
That's fake, yeah.
All right. I think I figured it out by the end. if it actually sounds like something that's made up, it's real. But if it sounds real, then it's probably fake. Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Awesome. Well, that was a good time. Thank you. It's good to be reminded of the fact that I don't know everything, and so, but it's also just shows that I haven't listened to a ton of John Reuben. One of my friends who was a student pastor when I was in college that I volunteered under. He and some of his buddies were big John Reuben fans, and so I got exposed to some stuff then, but never really took the time. I don't know why to listen. Maybe because I was too busy listening to Tooth and Nail records. Who knows? But yeah, this will be fun. Before we get deep into that, though, today, let's talk real quick about what's in the news.
What's in the news? What's in the news?
So I've just got one news item for us today, unless you've got anything to add. But I found out the other day, as I was looking through my socials, is that Petra has a new record coming out. And it's the first Petra album in over 20 years, and it's going to be called Hope. And they actually have a new single out right now coming from that record called Deliver Us. So... yeah, this is kind of interesting for me because Petra was my first like rock concert. This would be middle school for me, so probably like 92. Went to a camp and they played. And so I immediately there bought, I think, their record Unseen Power that they were touring at the time, and then went back and got like Beyond Belief and listen to some of the other stuff. But I feel like I like quickly moved on from Petra in my life.
Yeah.
But they also played like a pretty pivotal role like at the right moment. Do you have any kind of history with Petra at all?
The only Petra album I remember listening to was, I want to say, I don't know if this is like the album cover or if this is just like a picture in the booklet, but like they're in like a van or maybe like a bus or like a train. And I guess the lead singer's wearing like a red shirt or something, a red jacket.
Yeah, that's not reminding me of anything. I don't know. Could be. It could be. They put out a lot of records. Yeah, we'll definitely have to cover Petra because they had such an important place, I feel like, in this whole world at one point. But it's kind of fun for them to be able to put a new record out. And so and I think that it's pretty much the same band that I saw back in 92, which is cool. So I don't know how much they've played. I guess just they have maybe kind of been on hiatus for a while, but pretty fun to see them doing something. And I just noticed even from like them posting that, like the social media response to it was like huge. So there's still a lot of Petra fans out there, which is kind of a fun thing. So let's talk about a little bit of what we have been listening to lately. Brandon, have you listened to anything interesting of note late?
Well, I think interesting is the key word, Joel. I've discovered an entirely new genre this past weekend.
Oh, wow. I'm super intrigued.
So it's a thing I like to call hot dog pop. I don't know if you've seen, apparently Jordan said that this has been like really popular for a while, but there is, I don't have the name with me, but it's this like 8 or 9 or 10-year-old. And what he does is he takes Chapel Rome songs and replaces the lyrics to make it a song about hot dogs. So he has one where it's like the Cheese Coney Club, and it's all about just like going to a restaurant where he could eat like the best chili dog.
Okay.
Then there's another one where it's like hot dogs, but it's like the HOTDOGS. And it's just all about him, like all the different hot dogs he enjoys and like sitting with his buddies and enjoying a hot dog. And it's just like, I feel like it's the most interesting thing because it's just this like this catchy beat. And even the other day we were playing it for our nephew. And so it comes on and he's like, I know this song. And then just like 30 seconds into it, he's so confused, being like, what? And So yeah, it's just like I said, I forget if you. I feel like if you Google hot dog songs, this guy right now, he has the market. Like he owns the market.
He's like at the top of the genre. He's
But
just ruling
yeah,
it. Hot dog pop.
so yeah, if you enjoy pop, if you enjoy hot dogs, go to Spotify. Just type in Cheese Coney Club, and I guarantee you, there's no one else out there who's
Okay.
made.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really fascinating. I, maybe reminds me a little bit of the It's Corn.
Yeah, yeah. I'm waiting for them to tour together.
Tour
So
together.
yeah.
It'll be a pretty killer tour. So that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, for me, I actually had somebody who works on our team with us, one of our friends who recommended Reagan. She recommended an instrumental album to me, and it's called Midnight Prayers by Dan Musselman. And I've never been exposed to his stuff before at all, but I love like kind of quiet,
Yeah.
melancholy piano music, especially for when I'm working and I need to focus on something. And so this is pretty cool because it basically takes like modern worship songs, but it takes them from being in a major key and turns them into a minor key and then like quiet instrumental piano. And so it's kind of cool to just have on as background music. And I played it with my family the other night. We were doing laundry and just kind of had it on, trying to like settle us down at the end of the day. But we were like, all right, who can name what worship song this is first? And so it was kind of a fun thing. But it's actually a really cool album. And so if you're into that kind of quiet instrumental stuff, I think it'd be something that you would dig. I imagine this is probably going to end up on my Apple Music replay for the year, just because I've already played it so much that it'll probably pop up there, which would be kind of a fun thing. So, yeah, that one's been fun to dig into. So, all right, well, I guess it's time to get into our album discussion for the day. And so, Brandon, you submitted the record, The Boy versus the Cynic by John Reuben, for us to chat about today. So I'm going to give us kind of some just opening info, just a little bio of this. And then I'd love to hear for you, like just some of your history with the record before we get into it. But The Boy versus the Cynic is the fourth album by John Reuben. It was released in 2005 on Goatee Records. It features the hit Nuisance. In 2006, the album was nominated for 2 Dove Awards, the Rap Hip Hop Album of the Year and Recorded Music Packaging of the Year at the 37th Annual Dove Awards. So I don't guess it won. I wonder what beat it out for rap and hip hop.
John Reuben was just too.
He was always
The man was always putting him down. No.
He's on the nomination list like every year, but he never makes it to the.
I remember being so so bitter when Lecrae got big. I guess that would have been like 2009 or 2010. And I remember like having people like in my class talk about how awesome Lecrae was, and I'm just over there being like, "Oh, he's no John Reuben." And I remember being like, I had such a like anti-Lecrae stance because I felt like he was a threat to John Reuben. And in hindsight, I'm like, that's the most ridiculous like thought to have.
Lecrae's pretty awesome, so
I just remember being like, you guys think that's good. Well, you haven't checked out John Reuben yet. And so I remember like for the longest time, like just whatever Lecrae would release, I would immediately have to be like, nah, it's not that good. He's saying words and there's the music. And so in hindsight, I'm like, I don't know why I had this just.
that's
Like,
funny.
I need to repent of the anger and jealousy, the rage I had against Lecrae.
Yeah, well, that's a good call. That's a good call. Well, tell us a little bit about your history with this and why this is like such an important record for you.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say this is like my favorite or what I think is the best John Reuben album. For me, it's maybe like one of the most personal albums though. And it's because we were on family vacation and we stopped by our local family Christian bookstore. I feel feel there's people out there that's going to be like, what is that? What was that?
It's a thing that used to exist.
Yeah, we used to have stores that had CDs in there. And on the back wall, they just had a bunch of like clearance CDs. And I think that I had downloaded one or two of John Reuben's songs from Goatee Records. So I kind of knew him. And I'm like, well, this album, I'll grab this one just to get a new album. And I took it home, and like it was like my first experience into getting stuff that was like outside of, I guess, like the radio realm.
Right.
Like I had Toby Mac's Welcome to Diver City, which I guess that's like the step, but like Toby Mac still is like, he's established. Whereas John Reuben was this guy that I felt like it was the first time I had gotten music that I was like, no, like I've discovered this. No one else around here like knows this. So it was so special. And one thing I think is cool about it is that so originally he submitted 2 different CDs, and there was one that was very much a like radio friendly, very like optimistic thing, and then there was like a side project he was going to do where it was like these darker elements and all. And Goatee thought that like these more serious songs were really cool, so they ended up packaging it into one album. So you have this like mix of like the like optimistic like sunshine type songs and the very just like pessimistic and like dark side of humanity or whatever. And as a kid, I just thought that was like really cool. And even now, like I feel like there's a lot of artists out there that it's, we were joking at lunch about how they like choose one of the lanes where everything they do, like every song is resolved by the end, it's all happy,
Right.
or just all they do is complain, like nothing is good. And so like this album to me is just cool that it's this balance of like having this like struggle of like optimism versus like cynicism. So.
Yeah. When you were telling me that, I feel like the whole record made so much more sense to me, because I was noticing that as I was like listening to it, and the fact that it was going to be like 2 different projects that they brought together. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we get into it, but I think the album makes a lot of sense by the end of it. But yeah, that's a really cool tidbit that helps me kind of understand a little bit more about it. And John Reuben's like an interesting guy. You've told me things about him, and I'm like, like, what are some of the like fascinating things to know about John Reuben?
Yeah, I was that person growing up, and I still am, that I just loved getting any information I could about them. So what's cool to me is that I'm trying to find that file in my head that's just filled with John Reuben facts. I always thought it was cool that he like partnered with a lot of these like lesser known artists. So like, I mean, we'll discuss it in there, but this is like House of Heroes. Like I think around this time this was released, they might have released maybe their debut album, but like they weren't really like a household name. So like to me it's cool seeing that. And I felt like it was just like his style was way different than a lot of just like the rappers at the time. Like you hear a song and you know it's a John Reuben song.
Yeah.
Like you know it's not like a KJ52 or like a Pigeon John, you know, or whatever. So yeah, for me I feel like that's what stuck out. And yeah, because I'm trying to think. One cool thing about this album is that the track Nuisance, it has a music video, and it's basically just like The Office. So it's like characters from them as characters from The Office, and so John Reuben is Michael Scott like in it, and Matt Thiessen gets to be Jim Halpert in it. So I feel like that was a cool, like when it first came out, I didn't understand why it was so popular. Then looking back on it, I was like, oh, I can appreciate this now. So
yeah, that's cool. Well, let's get into track by track so we can start talking through the record a little bit. Again, I'll just mention for me, like I haven't had a history with this, and so this is brand new for me, and so it's interesting hearing kind of like the different the different styles that are kind of present throughout the record. And so we'll be able to talk about that as we kind of navigate our way through it. So, all right. So The Boy versus the Cynic, John Reuben, track number 1 is called Out of Control. This was the first moment for me, just like, all right, here it is. This is John Reuben. And it started out with an electric guitar, and I was like, that's cool. I like that. It took me a while to like I mean, obviously I knew this was like a rap hip hop album.
Yeah.
But it didn't start off feeling that way.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting that it's a little different. I like the groove of the song along the way. And then it kind of got into it, and I'm like, all right, this is like this like rap rock kind of like vibe. And I'm like, who else has done this? And obviously there've been a lot of people who have like done this. DC Talk in the Christian world being a prevalent answer to that, Beastie Boys, whatever it may be. But yeah, I thought it just wasn't what I expected in the beginning. Yeah.
I think when reviewing an album, like the opener can sometimes be so I feel like we've reviewed albums even now that like it doesn't have a solid opener, and it almost takes away like like a whole point or whatever, or whatever. I'm like, but I think it's a great opener. I think, like I said, and you said, it already kind of establishes that like it's not what you like expect. And I remember back in the day just kind of I felt like all or most of the rap music I had heard was in this group over here, and then John Reuben was like over here, where it's like, hey, we don't have to sound the same. We don't have to sing about the same stuff. I was wondering, like, so for me, I always felt like all of the songs fit like the Boy versus the Cynic, like going forward. But this one, I guess if you had to put it, you would put it into like the optimistic category. But do you feel like it felt like, having listened to the rest of the album, did you feel like it felt, or did it feel like, oh, it's a good song, but it feels like it's just there to be an opener to establish?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's not leaning hard in either direction.
Yeah.
It's kind of a middle road song, just from what I noticed from the record. And so yeah, I didn't really feel it leaning in one way or another.
Yeah.
But with that, it kind of felt like a song that kind of like brings the two worlds together a little bit into like, here's kind of on average what you're gonna do, like the average or the mean of what you're gonna be experiencing throughout this. So yeah, I thought it was a fun opener, and I like that it surprised me in the beginning. So that was cool. Yeah. So track 2 is Nuisance, which I'm guessing is the single from the record, since it's the one with the music video. It's the one that got released that way. So what are your thoughts on that track?
I like it a lot. I feel like it makes sense why it was the single. I really enjoy like Matt Thiessen. I feel like it works, and I think too it establishes that like it's not a song, it's not a CD where every song fits into one or two of those categories. So I appreciate a song that can have this like, oh, there's a struggle we're working through, and then you see where it's gone. It's not just a like, oh, things are bad and all of a sudden it's good or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like it works. Like, I know that I've probably sang along to the song a couple of 100 times in the car. So I feel like that's always like, it's a good sign of a song when you're like, oh, it's hard to not sing along with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I felt that way about it too. I love, again, it started out with guitar, and I loved it. And a little more kind of like indie, almost kind of pop punk kind of feel to it. And I thought that this one was super fun. I really liked everything about it. It's one of my favorite tracks on the record for sure. And there's this really low bass running throughout it, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't bring this up at the beginning, but the production on this record's pretty impeccable. Like, it's really, the production level's really high.
Yeah.
It's very, very well produced. And so this one was a lot of fun. I like the drop towards the end that really kind of let you feel the melody and what's happening
Yeah.
just in a different kind of way. I feel like moments like that are good because you experience a song in one context,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of fun to drop it out of that context into like a completely different kind of feel,
Yeah.
and be like, oh yeah, that melody like really works.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I thought it was cool. It had great outro too.
Yeah. So we move on to the next song, Chapter One. This is a track that, like, when I first got the CD, like, I never truly appreciated, and I never really liked. And fast forward, like, was it, like 18 years or whatever, I still don't care for it. So
I was wondering where that was going.
I think I was trying, because I was like, you can't just leave it with, don't care for it. I think, like, lyrically, it starts off with like, okay, now we're gonna spotlight some of the like cynical side of the album. I think it's the music that I just find like annoying. I think that's the biggest attachment, and I think that, like, out of the two categories, I think this was the weakest, like angry or cynical
Yeah.
song. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think we agree probably on that. Actually, when it started, I was like, "This is interesting musically,
Yeah.
like what was going on," but then like it didn't change at all,
Yeah.
and it just kept going. And it finally, eventually, adapted a little bit and did something that's a little different.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a song where they want the focus to be on what he's saying
Yeah,
and what he's
yeah.
communicating rather than trying to accomplish something musically. But I'm like, I'm a chorus guy.
Yeah.
Like, I want a chorus. I
Yeah.
want something to bring this whole thing together and make it feel like we're part of something. And it just never really got to where I felt like I wanted it to go. And so, yeah, I think I'm with you. It's kind of a weaker spot for the record.
I think it would have worked if it would have been maybe like a minute long, like interlude or something, setting up. Which, I mean, I think like on an album like this, it's nice to have those little breaks. Which I guess, like, we'll talk about it, but like having the happy songs thrown in helps with that. But I feel like it's if you just added one or two interludes throughout the album, it kind of helps with this like transition or like the story you're going for.
Yeah, maybe it just went on a little too long.
Yeah. Next up is Follow Your Leader. I think it's the first track that's just like aggressively in your face with like, oh, we're like, I don't know, like you hear something about like, oh, we're gonna have like the sad, or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's the first one that's very much like, yeah, we're gonna get very like honest about stuff. And so I think that, yeah, I feel like this shows you a sign of things to come, and I know it's a song that I enjoyed then, I enjoy now, so.
So do you feel like this one fits into the boy or the cynic category? Just kidding. I know it's very obvious. Yeah. This one was interesting for me. I felt like in the beginning it reminded me of like a Beck song. I don't know if you've listened to Beck very much, but I kind of had the feel of like a Beck kind of groove with where he was going. The chorus on it is like huge and kind of bonkers. And so that was kind of interesting. I did like the bridge a lot towards the end. Yeah, he's definitely got something to say.
Yeah.
And he says it. And
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked this one. It was interesting, different. Really different from most of the record in a pretty significant way. So it stands out in that sense, at least. Yeah. So track number 5 is Sales Pitch. What were your thoughts on that one?
So I think the line that sums it up well is, from politics to the dude trying to play it cool on the dance floor. Everyone's got an agenda. One thing I like is that it can start sounding so repetitive when you have like an album that's like, all right, here's 2 subjects we're covering. And I think with this one, I like the shift in like, it's not just this big like, oh, it's the man or something. Like, this is something where it's like, hey, you got to watch with all this stuff. And even we were talking about this in an MC the other day about how we start talking about like being of the world or something, and we're like, oh, that has to be like drinking, or it has to be stealing, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I look at stuff just like hating your job or something. I was like, there's some times where I'm like, it would be so much easier if I just told people like, yeah, I don't care for my job. Because it almost is like harder sometimes to be like, hey, I enjoy both my jobs. Like I enjoy who I work with, and it almost feels weird like you're not supposed to say that. And so I feel like with this song, I appreciate that it's a like, hey, this applies to everyone on here. Like it's not just hey, I'm calling you out if you're like if you work in, I don't know, like the insurance agency or something, it's not this you're hurting people or whatever. It's something that's like, hey, no matter what position you're in, you could be doing something that like is like bad or whatever.
Yeah. I felt like this one reminded me, at least in moments, a little bit of the Beastie Boys. And so there are things that I really liked about it. I liked the like really like quick, fast rapping kind of at the end of verse 2. I didn't really love the chorus. Like it didn't go where I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one for me is kind of like a meh song, but I probably should have paid more attention to the lyrics like you. I definitely was reading through them as I was going, but
Well, this is because this is the chorus that's like you have like the almost like the whispered like this person singing, then you have like John saying the random stuff
Yeah,
about
I
like
think so,
do
yeah.
yourselves pitch, and I feel like that stuff, it's like a hollow chorus or something where you're like, no, come on, let one person John, either you say more words or this guy over here whispering, turn him up so I can hear him.
yeah, maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But track 6, Sunshine. This definitely falls into the boy category. This one was super peppy, and I like peppy. And so I really like this song. This was one of my favorites on the record. There's like a down strum like walk down that happens a lot throughout it. That's just like a really nice like melodical thing that's happening. And that part where they're like, give me some sunshine, that part I thought was really cool. And there's another dropout I love that kind of does the same thing that Nuisance does earlier.
Yeah.
And so, so far, I'm super digging these happy songs. So I really like that one. I don't know about you.
I feel like it feels like a little out of left field, like when you've had these last couple of tracks where you're like, yeah, we're getting angry, or like things are bad, and then this hits.
That's such the interesting thing about this album, though.
But I think I thought about like, does it improve the album if you make it half and half? And I feel like ultimately, when you get to the end, I think that having that chaos, like, it feels like that's what John was going for, is that it's not like, let's be clean and separate the stuff. But yeah, I really like this track when I was younger. I think now, if I'm like nitpicking, I think it could be seen as kind of cheesy. And I think that like, if I had to choose one, this might be like what I think it might be the weakest like happy track. I think it's maybe what chapter 1 is to like the like cynical side of the album, is that it's like it's there. But yeah, I feel like it's still good. I remember I used to get that and Nuisance mixed up, and maybe it was because I was like, those are two happy songs.
Right.
But so we move next into So Glad. What'd you think about this one, Joel?
So I love the like this is just like a dance song. Like it's really fun. It makes you want to dance. The chorus for the energy that the song was bringing, the chorus didn't like hit like I wanted it to when it got there, and so I felt like that part of it was a little lacking. and so I didn't enjoy it as much as Nuisance or
Yeah.
something like that. But I thought it was a fun song. Yeah.
Um, I used to not like it, but now, like in the past, like 10 years or so, like I've added it to a lot of like playlists when I'm like traveling places. And when I first like got this album, I had no idea who House of Heroes was. So
Yeah.
like whenever I got into them, it was so cool going back and be like, that's Tim. I know him. And I think this is a track that like it would be so good to hear live because I feel like it's almost
Yeah.
written to be a live track where you have like that, like I think like the chorus going on. I feel like it's more about just the party that's happening there than the actual like song
Yeah.
going on. Um, so I feel like live this would be such a it would translate maybe even better like if you're sitting there at the show and
Yeah.
you're surrounded by I don't know like anywhere from 200 to 200 million, you know, John.
I could feel that for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. All right, so let's talk about track 8. What about them? Brandon, who is them?
Them or it's them, you know, it's them. What was funny is I got mixed up, and at first I was like, I thought them was like the bad guy, and so I was like, wait, no, them is the people. I wrote about this one that I just love how honest this album is, and I thought about like how I felt like it was provocative at the time, but now it's like I I wonder if this would get released or at least like on like a you know maybe it was like an indie release or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like Goatee is like I would say it's top 4 Christian label, top 5, like it's somewhere there. And but yeah, I feel like it's just like it's a super honest like track. And I think for me with John, I've always been more of like a lyric person. So I feel like that's probably a trend on this is that I feel like a lot of tracks it's more about like judging what the lyrics, whereas for you it's
Right.
like, hey,
Yeah.
this is cool drop down or whatever. Which I feel like is cool to highlight because no one wants to hear a podcast where it's all about like, well, the music's whatever. But if you just get a lyric book, like that's where all the like treasure is. But yeah, I just remember thinking like, man, this is like it's cool how much like artistic freedom is there. I feel like
Yeah.
the song just that's what stands out to me about it.
Yeah, this reminded me not musically, of course,
Uh-huh.
but lyrically, it kind of reminded me of like a Five Iron Frenzy song.
Yeah.
They have like 3 or 4 songs about like Native Americans and mistreatment,
Yeah.
and so like they're constantly causing us to look at ourselves and see how we treat people that are more marginalized. And so as I was listening to this song, I just like caught wind and kind of felt
Yeah.
kind of the same kind of ideas, just helping us to keep our eyes like not just on people who are like us and have walked through what we've walked through in life,
Yeah.
but how can we put our eyes on people who maybe have had a different experience and have had to walk through some tougher stuff than we have. What about them? And so I thought that was kind of cool
Yeah.
about that one. Yeah.
Next up we've got There's Only Forgiveness. What about this track, Joel? Where did this rank for you in the this is depressing.
So it reminded me a little bit of like an Eminem song,
Uh-huh.
which you can probably correct me, but I feel like John Reuben and Eminem had, or maybe that was KJ52, had this thing back and forth thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah, KJ52 had the like it was like the what's like Eminem's is like Stan and then KJ52's was like Dear Slim where he
Yeah.
wrote like a track to him about like
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to stop.
That makes sense. Yeah, this one just felt a little Eminem. Like the beat was cool. Like it wasn't just a standard beat. And so I thought that was neat. And there's a total like shift that happens in the song, like
Yeah.
midway through, which I thought was cool and interesting.
Yeah.
At that point, it felt like it moved from an Eminem song to like a POD
Uh-huh.
song,
Yeah.
and like a lighter POD song
Mm-hmm.
with some of the like classical guitar and so yeah, I thought this one was cool. I liked it.
I like the so I really like the shift at the end
Mm-hmm.
because I wrote down that like it might have been my favorite like bridge slash like ending or whatever you want to call it to like the entire album
Yeah.
because I feel like I don't know, it gets like eerie or whatever like towards
yeah.
the end. I like lyrically the shift where a lot of the other like Cynic tracks have been an opinion on the outward, and I feel like this song is a lot about like the inward struggle where it's like him saying like I don't want to like let go of this pain, I want to hold on to it. So like I enjoy that it's not just a pointing the finger like
Right.
at
Yeah.
everything. It's like taking this inward look, and I feel like that for me it helps not every track start feeling the same. Kind of the same way with like the like happier tracks that you don't want everything just to be like, "Meh, things can be kind of tough, but guess what? I'm happy." Like you
Yeah.
want there to be a little bit of like difference. Which speaking of, we move to our next track, All I Have. What do you think about this one? Do you find it to be cynical or?
No, no, it wasn't. This one was cool. I like the acoustic guitar kind of groove to it. It's more, it's like that. It's not like rapping or singing. It's
Yeah.
that world that exists between the two. And I kind of like that sometimes. I think
Yeah.
that's fun. And I bet it's probably fun for him to do, just to do something that's a little different. And so I thought the chorus was great. I like the feel of it. I wanted to kind of sing along with it. So for me, it was like a highlight song. But again,
Yeah.
it's one of the happier
Yeah.
kind of feeling ones.
Yeah, this used to be a skip track when I was like younger, and it's weird because I feel like that and like Sunshine like switched where now it's like I appreciate All I Have more.
Yeah.
And I think it's like I don't know who you were when you were younger, but I felt like younger I didn't like when there was a shift, like when a artist did something different. It was like, no, I like what you did on this track. Now give that to me, like, you know, for the next
Right.
20 albums you release.
Yeah.
And so now like listening back, I appreciate how it has this, like you said, like this like acoustic like feel to it. And I like how it like it feels like there's an authentic hopefulness to it.
Yeah.
And you know, I keep going back to it's so easy for these songs to fall into a category where it's just okay, I need this to be like angry. And but I feel like with the tracks there's a thought put into okay, what am I feeling? How do I express it? Not just okay, we have to get this album out. Like
Right.
we need 2 more like angry songs or whatever.
Yeah.
Next one is Cooperate. What are your thoughts on cooperating?
Yeah. So Cooperate, I thought was cool. I liked the message that's going on of just like the idea of like needing to grow up and like almost kind of like being you feel like you're like so unique and like you're the cool thing or whatever that you're actually kind of like selling out and it's time to just grow up and get over yourself a little bit. And so I thought that was kind of cool. Again, it reminded me of a Five Iron Frenzy song, Handbook for the Sellout, for some reason. And so, yeah, I thought this was a cool one.
That's cool.
Yeah, you?
Oh yeah, I forgot I did. Yeah, I like the chorus a lot on this one. Lyrically, I like how it goes back to like very specific. It's not just like, hey, all you people who are fake, it's bad. Like it feels like there's someone he's thinking about, or it's like someone he's encountered a lot.
Yeah.
I know too, like in just like the like, it goes back to like the rap world. I feel like there's a lot of this like fakeness, and you see that a lot. And I mean, it's probably the same way like in like the rock world too, but um I guess just for like this sake, that was something is that I felt like that was a push in John's like music too, was that like it was, let's be different, and almost kind of like mocking that thing of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could sell more, but it's like I'm not being authentic if I go to this crowd and I start saying like, and I think this album too, um it's like you're kind of firing shots all across the board. Like it's not something where he's saying like the church is corrupt, or it's like, oh, everything outside of the church is corrupt.
Right.
And I think that's a cool part about this song, is that it feels like this is, he's calling out someone different from the other ones. And I don't know. I feel like this album shows a lot of probably why John Reuben never got a ton of traction, was that it was kind of like yeah, we're gonna call all of this out or whatever. But
Yeah, that's good. So track number 12, the last track on the record, is the where we get the title of the album, "The Boy versus the Cynic." This is where this whole record made sense for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening through it and I'm like, I feel like this is all over the place. There's like
Yeah.
some pretty hard cynicism about the world, about the church, about lots of different things. And then there's just like, guys, life is good. Like, what's going on? And then this track hits and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I understand what's happening here. And so I feel like just putting this track at the end of the record like automatically raises this like whole album up for me, because I understand it. And I feel like the album doesn't make sense without this song. And so it's got a really important place. Plus I think it's good. Like, I like the guitars. They do like a doubling of the vocals in the chorus at some point, which I think is really fun. The lyrics are cool. Like, I just think he says a lot here that really wraps a nice bow around this. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I think that like, I think for me this track was like life altering. But to give it like a real review and not just leave it at that, to where it's like, oh, life altering. Like I really enjoyed, like you said, how it sums up the album. And like there's so many times where I think about like how an album begins, and sometimes it's like albums get this pass if it like tapers off, or like there's albums where I'm like, yeah, the first like 8 songs are really good, but the last 3, we don't have to talk about them. But I think this is an album that it's like the beginning and the end are just so strong. It kind of like lifts like the rest of it. And I think Tim Skipper's like presence on it like is just like, it does so much for like the chorus. Like I feel like I'm experiencing what this person is experiencing. And like I sometimes think it's like we think it's so easy with like a song for it to like impact someone. And I think about like a movie where it's like you have like $100 million and you've got 2.5 hours to like get people like into your story and to like change their mind or change their life or make them feel these emotions. And I look at music sometimes and I think, like, how difficult is that when you have like 2 to 4 minutes to be like, I need to get your attention, I need to like make you feel this way or whatever. Like it's almost like that like elevator pitch where it's like you have a business and you have 20 seconds, to tell me what your business is versus the 20-minute presentation. But I think it does really well. And like we both said, I feel like it does put that bow on the album.
Yeah, it's cool. And that kind of is my like kind of summary thought of all this, is just that there's this nice little tie that happens there between these 2 different worlds that he's kind of introducing us to through this. And so yeah, I love that last song, and I love what it does for the album in a really cool way. So Yeah, do you have final thoughts or anything else?
Um, I I guess final thoughts. Like for me, I think it's cool when you go back and you like revisit music like this because, like I said, there was other CDs where I'm like, oh man, every single track on this is amazing. But I was like, this is one that I haven't listened to
Mm,
like through like all the way. And I think it is more of a discussion because it like, I could see someone loving or hating this album just because it doesn't fit into that nice thing of like everything's bad or everything's good or
right.
here's our target or that's our target. Like it's a very like I don't know, like John Reuben releasing what John Reuben wants to release, or
Yeah.
Goatee releasing what John Reuben needs to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, let's talk about our overall ratings for this one. So this is a big one for you, Brandon. Where does it fall?
um, I'm gonna pull a style out of the Joel handbook, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it a 4.15.
Okay.
I feel like it's not a 4.5. It's not a, but it's better than a 4. So I'm just gonna go 4.15.
4.15. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, so for me, again, like I liked this. It wasn't what I was necessarily even expecting going
Mhm.
into it, and I love that part about it. And I like how that last song pulls it up for me in a lot of ways. It's still, I don't think, something that like I would listen to
Mhm.
every day. Um, it's a little, it's talked about the production
Uh
earlier
huh.
and how good the production is. Like it's a
Yeah.
little too polished for
Yeah.
me, which I feel like probably hip hop is going to be that
Yeah.
way a little more than like what I traditionally listen to. Although I spent a good amount of time in middle school, like
Mhm.
digging into some Christian hip hop. So, but I really enjoyed it, and so for me, I'm gonna go with a 3.3
Nice.
for The Boy versus the Cynic by John Reuben. And so, yeah, how does that make you feel bringing this before me?
I think I've had so many people get annoyed at me, like, please be quiet about John Rubin. So really, like, I've become immune to like the John Rubin hate out there.
Well,
So
there's no hate. 3.3 is a good rating
no,
for a
I think
record.
that's good. And I mean honestly, I think that sometimes when I put numbers out there, I think the same way. Like for some, I mean, we were discussing this the other day with like some of our friends, like
Mhm.
about like what is like is a 4 bad, is a 3 bad, like
Right.
because you can see a 2.5 as a 50, or you can see it as
Average.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that you gave John Rubin a barely passing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you meant to do, but I'm
No,
not
no,
taking
no.
it.
So for me, a 2.5 is an
Hmm.
average. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
So this is pretty well above that, which is awesome.
I think that's John's like motto is like above average.
Above
I'm sure
average.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a John Rubin t-shirt out there that said like you're above average rapper. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, let's figure out what our lyric of the week is.
It's time for the lyric of the. It's time.
all right. But waiting is a pinch waking you up from the worlds you've made up, the one where you dream and the one where you gave up. Time to create a new atmosphere where the boy and the cynic can both play fair.
Mm, that's nice. Yeah, I love that. I love that you pulled it from that last one. I think kind of sums it all up together. That's cool. All right. Well, where can people spend time with us on the internet? You can find us at Hey Are You Pod on X or Twitter. We have a Facebook page. We'd love for you to engage us with. One thing I think just to mention, I think have tried really hard to make sure that this isn't a podcast where We are going to have ads and things to bug you that you have to skip through through this, but it'd be super helpful for us if you can help us by subscribing to the podcast, by rating it, giving it a review, typing something out would be super helpful just for us to get the word out on this. And we're super thankful for those of you who have spent time with us and are listening each week and digging into it. Keep joining us for the journey. We're super grateful that you're here, and we will look forward to talking with you again next week.
Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out all